This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets. Russian oil currently accounts for only 12% of Germany's supply, Economy Minister Robert Habeck said on Tuesday, adding that Europe's biggest economy hopes to replace all deliveries of oil from Russia in a matter of days. Habeck was speaking to reporters during a visit to Poland for talks about energy security.
Oil prices rose modestly in volatile trading on Tuesday as the market weighed concerns over Russian supply and Chinese demand. Brent crude futures were up 41 cents, or 0.4%, at $102.73 a barrel at 11:17 GMT, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate contracts were up 18 cents, or 0.2%, at $98.72 per barrel. Both contracts had settled down around 4% on Monday. Demand concerns in China, the world's largest crude oil importer, added downward pressure on Tuesday. China's capital Beijing has expanded its COVID-19 mass testing to much of the city of nearly 22 million, as the population braced for an imminent lockdown similar to Shanghai's stringent curbs.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
The global capacity of power plants fired by coal, the fossil fuel that emits the most carbon dioxide when burned, rose nearly 1% last year as the world recovered from the COVID-19 pandemic, according to a research report by a U.S. environmental group. The Global Energy Monitor, GEM, report found that global coal plant capacity grew 18.2 gigawatts to about 2,100 gigawatts, or about 0.87%. Scientists and activists have urged the world to move off coal to cleaner energy sources such as solar and wind power and in some cases, nuclear power. It's up by a small number, said Flora Champenois, a research analyst at GEM about the capacity rise. But it comes at a time when the world needs a dramatic fall in the capacity, not any rise.
Russian and Indian officials met last week in an effort to resolve an impasse over the shipping of coking coal to Indian steelmakers, which has dried up since March over payment methods, a trade source and an Indian government source said. Russia usually supplies about 30% of European Union, Japanese and South Korean coking coal needs, while India had planned to double its Russian imports to around 9 million tons this year. Imports make up around 85% of India's overall coking coal needs, which total 50 to 55 million tons a year, and New Delhi last year signed a deal to import from Russia.
Next, we have the top news in metal markets.
China's Shanghai Futures Exchange said on Tuesday that it would raise trading margins for steel rebar, wire rod and hot-rolled coils futures to 11% from 10%, effective from settlement on April 28. The bourse will also raise trading margins for the futures contracts to 13% from 12%, it said in a statement on its website.
Copper prices bounced on Tuesday after China's central bank said it would boost policy support for the economy, but COVID-19 lockdowns in the top consumer and expectations of aggressive U.S. interest rate hikes capped gains. Benchmark copper on the London Metal Exchange traded up 1.5% at $9,918 a ton in official rings. Prices of the metal used widely in the power and construction industries fell to $9,756.50 on Monday, the lowest since February 9. Hopes for further Chinese stimulus have helped sentiment, but the negatives are still there, a metals trader said. We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector. Ukraine has sent around 80,000 tons of grains to the Romanian Black Sea port of Constanța so far, with more expected to arrive, the port's manager said on Tuesday. Ukraine's seaports have been blocked since a Russian invasion 2 months ago and the country, a major agricultural producer, has been forced to export by train via its western border or via its small Danube River ports into Romania. European Union member Romania shares borders of the Black Sea, a major shipping artery for grain and oil, with Bulgaria, Turkey, Georgia and Ukraine.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.